Okay, our next inductee is Bruce Covernton from the Wildcat football team. In doing some research for this, for our program, for the Hall of Fame ceremony, and maybe Bruce will talk about this, I came across a couple things in the media guide that he was known as Tuna. He'll have to tell us about that. In one media guide, it said his nickname was Tuna, his car was the Tuna Boat, and the 1978 Delta 88 convertible he had was the most famous car on the Weber State campus. Is that true? Okay, 100% true. Very good. Bruce was an All-American with the Wildcats. He helped lead the Wildcats to the playoffs in the 1AA playoffs. Of course, earned all conference honors and was a part of the Wildcat football team for 4 years. He's going to be presented tonight by his coach, Dave Arslanian, who's a member of our Hall of Fame and was inducted last year. So first we'll have a video, and then we'll hear from him, our newest Wildcat Hall of Famer, Bruce Covernton.
Bruce Covernton played 4 years for the Weber State football team from 1988 to 91, playing for head coaches Mike Price and Dave Arslanian. Covernton came to Weber State out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. His first 2 seasons were spent as a defensive lineman with the Wildcats, and he started all 11 games as a sophomore. After his sophomore season, the player nicknamed Tuna moved to the offensive line and became an anchor to the Wildcat offense. His final 2 seasons as an offensive tackle on the left side of the line, Coverton blocked for Jamie Martin, who won the Walter Payton Trophy in 1991 as the nation's top player. In his senior season of 1991, Coverton earned first-team All-American honors as he helped lead Weber State to an 8-4 record, and the Wildcats advanced to the NCAA 1-2A playoffs for just the second time in school history. After leaving Weber State, Coverton was drafted with the first overall pick in the 1992 Canadian Football League draft by the Calgary Stampeders. He played in 72 games in 7 years in the CFL. He was on the offensive line for Stampeder quarterbacks Jeff Garcia and Doug Flutie.
Bruce Covernton, it was a pleasure and privilege to coach you, and it's a great honor tonight to participate in this Hall of Fame induction for you. I'll start and finish this introduction with the following statement. You've earned this prestigious award by your actions and accomplishments while at Weber State, and by your actions and accomplishments since Weber State. You've had some amazing accomplishments. Congratulations. As an offensive lineman, there's not many stats that we could come up with, but we all know about your All-Conference and your All-American and your All-CFL, All-Pro awards that you won during your career. But let me just tell a few stories to illustrate that opening statement that I made about you. I called Mark Gorsak and Tom Stackeruk, a coach and a player that knew you best while you were at Weber State. And we laughed and giggled about some of your stories and some of the adventures that you had during your time with us. But since this is not a roast, and I don't want to embarrass you, we're not going to tell many of those stories. We won't tell the story about you getting blisters on your feet as you ran across the D-Event Center parking lot. I'm not sure what you were trying to escape, but apparently you made it. And I won't tell the story about when you confronted Rick Justice in the huddle after one of his rare dropped passes, and 6'6" Bruce Covernton is insulting 5'6" Ricky Sparky Justice. I won't repeat the things that he had to say to you. Tom Stackeruk told me what they were because he was in the huddle with you. How about when you first came to Weber State and you told Brad Larson that your birth date was August 12th, 1968, and that's what he put in the press guide for you. Now, it was 1988 when you came to Weber State, and I know that you were well beyond 20 years of age, but I kept your secret because I knew that you didn't want to disclose to the pro scouts how old you really were, but we both know. And how about you and your tuna boat with Dexter and Russ Henry and Tom Stackeruk and Alan Bott and all of the rest of the offensive linemen that you could get in that car with you, that big convertible that you had, that you'd come driving past my house at the end of two-a-days, waking up the whole neighborhood. No, you were pretty unique and pretty special. And from the time you walked on campus, you became a leader for the Wildcats. And you had no problem sticking up for a teammate or a coach, which you did on a number of occasions. You were always a great protector and a great leader, and that was always greatly appreciated. You know, you were also a great personal protector for one of the greatest players to ever play at Weber State, Jamie Martin. And I remember at our team meals when you'd have all the offensive linemen around you at the dinner table and an empty spot right next to you, and you'd wave Jamie Martin over as he walked into the room, and you'd say, "Sit right here, this is your spot." No, you were always a great personal protector for many guys. While I was talking with Tom Stackeruck about some of the Bruce Coverton stories, he said it best when he said, "Bruce Coverton has met unbelievable challenges and keeps plugging away and finds a way to have success. Every success Bruce Coverton has ever had has always come with hard work and sacrifice. From the day you came to Weber State as a defensive lineman with Mike Zimmer yelling at you and you developing shin splints that were pulling muscle away from the bone, you never missed a minute. And when you made the transition from defensive line to offensive line, you stepped right up and became a great player and became one of the greatest ever at Weber State. You've done some amazing things to have the success that you've had. And there's lots more I could say, but to finish this intro like I promised, I'll say this, the statement I started with. You, Bruce Coverton, have earned this prestigious award by your actions and accomplishments while at Weber State, and by your actions and accomplishments since Weber State. And using Tom Stackeruck's statement, every success you have had has come with hard work and great sacrifice. Congratulations, Bruce, for this well-earned award. We know there are many more things, great things ahead for you, and we love you, we appreciate you, and we admire you, and congratulations, Bruce Coverton."
Coach Dave, thank you for the introduction. I have to apologize. I've had a few surgeries on my neck, so if my voice breaks out, I apologize. First off, a couple of things. The parking lot, the bare feet. I did save the children. So that was an accomplishment. I know there's some confusion there. And then you guys ever watch Knight Rider? Right, remember that? David Hasselhoff, the car talked. Let's just say I'm glad my car doesn't talk. First off, where's Becky and Carrie? I want to thank them. We came down from Calgary and they've taken care of us with the hotel. There they are. We were going to ski and then we weren't going to ski and then we were going to ski. So thanks to those guys. Thanks to the Wildcat Club. This was a surprise phone call to get this. I looked at the wall and not a lot of offensive linemen because it's not the sexiest position in the world. I don't have any stats. My job was to beat up folks, and I guess I did a good job. The reason I'm grateful for this opportunity isn't for myself. It's a chance to celebrate my coaches, my teammates at the back, my family, and some good friends. Tom mentioned that it wasn't always easy for me. We had some family tragedies that took place over my sophomore year. And without my teammates, I'm a fun guy and we had a lot of fun together, but without those guys, I don't know how I would have survived, and it gave our family certainly a place to rally around and also to look at because some ugly stuff had happened in our family. So my brother Jim's here. I want to acknowledge him. Always been the biggest fan. He's the driver. Calgary to here in 11 hours. Unbelievable. Thank you, Montana speed limits. I was always ready for football when I came back from Winnipeg. There's a guy here that I really want to acknowledge, Breck Young, if you could stand, Breck. He trained like he was playing football. He was playing hockey, but every year, whatever program was tossed our way by the strength coach, Breck was right there beside me, and I really, really appreciate him. Dave, you were telling some of the stories, and thank God I had concussions. Because if I didn't have the concussions, I would forget about being a Canadian and learning about the brown bag rule at the Grey Moose. I have some Tongan friends here. We were out at a farm, and I thought they wanted to ride the horses. It turns out they wanted to eat them. True story. Another guy shot my couch with a shotgun. Good thing concussions, I wouldn't remember that. Got in trouble for beer cans in my convertible. And a lot of people don't know this. There was one summer where there was no golf balls in any ponds in the... We all got our first set of golf clubs because someone had the great idea that if we went at night and took all the lost balls, we could trade them in for clubs. It was a good idea until we went up to Wolf Creek. It was kind of chilly. But really, my speech is short. I was very fortunate. I was recruited by Dave Arslanian. I tell football stories, but I don't really have. I hit a guy, we were in a ball, it looked like someone got some yards. So I really don't have anything as regards to football, but I was fortunate to play with great players. But, guys like Jamie Martin, I was very fortunate to play with those guys. And it was because of great recruiting with Dave Arslanian. So a lot of people don't know this. I didn't play football. I played 1 year of football. I'll argue the birth certificate thing. But I was recruited by Coach Dave. I was from Manitoba, prairie guy, farm guy, just like our friend here, Jim. And I flew in and a guy picks me up, Fonzie-looking guy, looking cool. Picked me up at a Porsche 911. Took me up to the state capitol, told me, that it's a great place to get a date. You're going to meet a girl here. Showed me the campus, cute girl. Showed me around campus. Gerald Wilcox, who went on to be a #1 pick also in the CFL. He took me to a party, and I thought, I've made it. I signed. I came in, and we all know Coach Zimmer, now the coach of the Vikings. I went from that to this guy screaming, asked me what my name is, like he didn't know, asked me if I was on scholarship, like he didn't know. I was almost crying. I looked at Coach Dave and I go, what happened? He said, well, it's easy. Yesterday you were a recruit, today you're on the team. So can I get my teammates to stand up in the back? They're all here. I just want to quickly mention them. Offensive line guys. Right. Because this really isn't about me. I played what I believe is the ultimate team game, and then in a position that is the ultimate team within that team sport, offensive line. We did the dirty work. We kept guys clean. We had Jamie Martin. What a privilege to block for that guy. Jeff Mitchell, who I hope will be up here at some point, broke Jerry Rice's scoring record. Alfred Papuna, who's a Hall of Famer. I mean, the list goes on and on of the great players, and I was just one of them. I wasn't, my goal wasn't to be a football player. I kind of stumbled into it. I wanted to be a hockey player, but not a lot of calls for 6'5", 295-pound right wingers. And again, I go back to my family and my friends. My mother made the unfortunate decision to end her life in my sophomore year. And I can't say enough about Dave Arslanian. He, first guy on the phone, he wasn't worried about Bruce coming back and being eligible for football because it was one of those critical things. He offered to be on the first flight to come and get me and help me and take care of me. And I'll never forget it. Football's football, track, they're games, guys, but the relationships that we build and we get to carry forward, you just can't beat it. I can't tell you a single story about football. Who I blocked on a great play. I played Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, Jamie Martin. I was out there for some tremendous plays. I can't tell you a play, but I can tell you story after story after story of my teammates, my coaches, my first CFL game. Dave Arslanian had all of our coaches come up to the CFL for my first pro game. I mean, I don't know a lot of coaching staffs that would do that. So I accept this on behalf of my teammates, Coach Dave, my family, my good friend Breck, and congratulations to the other winners. I guess I could say I was pretty good, right? There's no stats to compare. Let's just say I was a hell of a ball player. Thank you.